What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Fightful.com podcast. It's the Valentine Day edition, so I have mood lighting. Jeff, does this lighting get you in the mood?
Oh, you'll always be my Valentine, Sean Ross Sapp. Always.
Why'd you have to go and make it weird? Like, right off the bat, you had to make it weird.
Because that's what I do.
That's completely accurate, actually.
Well, Anna's not here, so I got to deal with you. So
what? We're just going to accost Anna every time she's on a show? That's the kind of site we want to...
No, we have a platonic, playful relationship going, Sean Ross Sapp. Don't make it creepy. She and I share a love of the revival.
As we all do.
Yes.
Guys, if you've never visited Fightful.com, go over there, check it out. We got all your exclusive news. We got news on Brock Lesnar retiring from the UFC today, some stuff that other places don't have. We got your live coverage, interviews, podcasts. We got articles and podcasts from wrestlers and fighters in the business. We cover you from all angles at Fightful.com. Go check it out. If you want to support Fightful.com, head over to ProWrestlingTees.com/Sean Ross Sapp. We got cool shirts for sale. Also, if you don't like MMA or wrestling, you can go to FightfulWrestling.com or FightfulMMA.com to kind of isolate your news. But yeah, head over, check us out, Fightful.com. Like us on Facebook and follow at Fightful Wrestle, at Fightful Online, and at Fightful MMA. I'm trying out something, testing my video quality without using Wirecast. That's why I don't have all my gimmicks down here at the bottom, but we got Smackdown to talk about, Jeff. We had an opening segment. This was just your typical, well, we're setting up a triple threat match. Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, John Cena. John Cena, because he is adult, cheers like a child when they add another person to his championship rematch.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of clever way to get AJ Styles' rematch out of the way as well, instead of it being an overhanging storyline. Although you do have, 7 weeks until WrestleMania? There was plenty of time to do an AJ Styles match somewhere in here. Yeah, and that was a bit weird too, but I guess it's one of those things where it's like, well, I don't have to necessarily beat the champ. I can beat AJ Styles, who I just beat for this belt. Of course, that's also fantasy booking in my head. It is kind of it's kind of weird to yes, there's another guy who might be able to win the belt in this match.
I don't have to get pinned at all.
No, woohoo!
That was the opening promo. I mentioned in my notes, Bray Wyatt cuts a promo that isn't unlike many of his promos, but this time I listened.
I dug it.
Because he was relevant, so it meant more. It's interesting how when you're worth a shit, your promos are also worth a shit, even if they haven't really changed at all.
Yeah, definitely. And I found it odd that the Anaheim crowd chanted, "You deserve it," but okay, this is what crowds do now.
I hate it. But speaking of worth shits, that has never been the case for the Ascension. So because American Alpha defeated the Ascension after they had their asses kicked, they get another crack at doing exactly what they already did?
Correct me if I'm wrong here, because we did not talk Elimination Chamber. You talked with the other people about this. Didn't American Alpha say we want to be the first ones in this tag team turmoil match and run the table? And now we're getting 10-minute matches with the Ascension. This is so weird.
Wow.
I mean, I don't think the gimmick is ever going to be over. I kind of like Victor again. I like saying that. I mean, they did a couple of cool things in this match. I always like that kind of stall for time type of thing where you're talking strategy to make it look a little bit more real. But like, they didn't do anything for me. I thought the Usos promo was pretty good after this, but I thought this match was way too long for what happened on Sunday.
Switched cameras on you guys to see if that improved the quality at all. A lot of you are roasting my camera quality ability. I guarantee you, my camera quality is fine. It's something with the connection. I don't know what it is. I'm supposed to be rolling on the 50 Mbps. And as I see, it's not helping at all either. I don't get it. I'm switching back. That way you all can at least see me on this bad boy. It's weird. I don't know. I'm gonna see what I can do. I'll get a hold of Google or Time Warner or somebody. I know you guys are so. We got these 18 to 36 guys that are just so worried about seeing my face, but it's okay. I understand. See pretty boy Sean, I guess. So
why are you all home on Valentine's Day? Go out.
Hey, you know what? That's what it is. I am everybody's Valentine. Hundreds.
Okay.
Watching live. Thousands that will watch this. I am their Valentine. I am what Jeff aspires to be.
Well, you do have a nice
on our co-host.
Hold on, you do have a nice head of hair.
Somebody says it's Google Hangout. It sucks. I don't know if it's Google Hangouts because Jeff isn't having that problem, and it's a consistent problem with me. So I don't know. We'll figure it out.
You have a lot of consistent problems with you, but nevertheless, camera's the least of them.
Whatever. David Otunga is terrible. He's so bad. As a character, as a wrestling character, Jeff, for years, for 6 years before he became an announcer, he had zero redeeming qualities. Why are we all of a sudden supposed to like him?
Can I be weird and say that I thought tonight he actually grew on me a little?
Shut the fuck up, Jeff.
I'm thinking it might be Stockholm Syndrome of some kind, but his interplay with JBL at least is getting better. He's throwing JBL off his game. The guy who's actually not getting better is Morrow because I don't think he wants to be there. But look, I don't think Otunga's good. Don't get me wrong. I just thought he was better. I was listening and going, I'm kind of enjoying him because he's not letting JBL run all over him tonight. But maybe it was just a hiccup. But yes, he's terrible.
I'm so disappointed in you.
That's all right. So is my parents.
This was your paint by numbers face in peril match. It took them longer to beat the Ascension regularly than it did after they've been beaten down.
After they got beat down, yeah.
I'll say this. Nobody has taken a Grand Amplitude better than Victor. He does it perfectly. It's phenomenal. The Usos cut a promo on American Alpha, so I guess beating the Headbangers 4 months ago gets you a tag title shot these days.
They're the only team that could really put on a good feud with American Alpha right now, so I don't have a problem with that. The problem is I was hoping it'd be Harper and Rowan. Oh, did you? Great.
At Mania against American Alpha. I thought that would have been a good way to go.
Uh-huh. Jeez.
What?
I do want to see a good match. I just don't want to see how can I put this? A WWE style tag match. I want to see something you might see back in the day in terms of two teams really brawling and doing double team moves with each other. Things of that nature with the Usos and American Alpha, and I'm not going to get it. And that's why I think we've put this bar way high, especially because of the American Alpha revival matches.
You have such a boner over the Crockett Cup or
I
whatever
do.
The hell you
well,
said.
just that era of tag team wrestling where it was actually, less stylized, so to speak.
Well, maybe WWE will bring back the sheep herders
Oh, jeez. I'd love the sheep herders, the WWE, if they weren't
well, hey guy, Harper and Rowan are the closest you're gonna get.
Fine,
so.
And the Ascension. So
yeah, right.
Harper
okay.
and Rowan. No. Actually, you know what? I like these Usos. I think the Usos have personality. You know who hates the Usos is Rob McCarron. Rob McCarron would cut them on day one if he could.
Guys, subscribe to us, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher. Leave us a nice review on Stitcher and iTunes. Send us the review. We'll give you a follow. Also, I am here tomorrow afternoon with Fightful.com owner Jimmy Van. Thursday with Matt Riddle, who faces Fightful.com's own Jason Kincaid on Friday. And he's scheduled to face, of all people, Jeff, Dan the Beast Severn. WrestleMania weekend. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about his comments from a recent CZW preview. Did you hear what he said?
Yes.
He said, and I quote, "Triple H can't keep my name out of his fucking mouth," end quote. I will ask him about that and his documentary that comes out next week. Register for early access to that. This Friday, the show with Shane Helms, we're going to take a behind-the-scenes look at the process of running the show. A lot of you don't realize this. Shane Helms runs Omega now, and they were drawing like thousands late last year. So that should be an interesting talk to have. We'll talk about the process of booking wrestlers, like how far out you book a venue, how much the ref knows, things like that.
Riddle and Cobb are going after the PWG tag titles this weekend as well.
Did you see their shirt?
Yes. The frozen one? Yeah.
Our boy, Graham Williams, who does our posters, designed that shirt.
Nice job, Graham.
Very happy funny with that.
Yeah.
Also on the MMA side, guys, go over to Twitter. Wish our boy Elias Theodoru luck. He fights at UFC Halifax on Sunday. You can see him. He did a podcast with Showdown Joe today. Also, it appears as if we have brought on Frank Trigg. So, hey, far worse things than having a UFC Hall of Famer on the roster. Back to SmackDown. Dean Ambrose and James Ellsworth had this backstage segment, and I really liked it. And you're probably going to hate it because you don't like fun.
I thought it was fine. I liked Carmella calling him a gas station attendant. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I did too. So they get a match scheduled, and Ellsworth isn't happy about it. But Corbin attacks Ambrose as his music hits and deep sixes him through a table. The only problem was Pyro Guy doesn't know the deep six, because he anticipated the bump but didn't expect an extra rotation, and the sparks went early. Damn.
Yeah, this was a bit of a mistype thing, and then someone also left their snack from craft services on the table over there too, which I found quite funny. But yeah, they A for effort, I guess, because they like doing these spots where you throw a guy through a chest and then sparks come up as if it's an electrical cabinet or something to that effect. So, I mean, they do Corbin right. It just as I said, it looked a little bit like bum fights though, watching Dean and Corbin fight each other.
Did you happen to see what kind of snack it was?
Was it waffles or was it cookies? Because it looked like cookies to me on the screen originally.
It is Valentine's Day, but I mean, everybody's going to be eating their chocolate. But eventually you're going to have to work that off, Jeff. You have to work that off.
Yes.
And you're going to have to go shop at our friends at Onnit. Go to Fightful.com. Click that Onnit link. Maybe you want to get yourself some Oat Mega Brownie Crisp protein bars. They're delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you want to get yourself some dark coffee kits. Those are wonderful. How about some Omega Vanilla Almond Crisp? How about some Chocolate Peanut Crisp? How about some Chocolate Mint Crisp? That's the stuff Bailey uses. Triple H, Cesaro, Seth Rollins. Over on the UFC side, Donald Cerrone, Cody Garbrandt. Head over to Onnit. Click that link on our main page. It's also down there in our YouTube description. You can also find our Pro Wrestling Tees link and just our links in general. Somebody says, Fightful Tee looking good, SRS. Damn right, you guys. That's that soft style. What's up? So one thing I've noticed about Baron Corbin is his promos are all the same.
You mean
why don't you ask me a question as if you were an interviewer, and I'll be Baron Corbin?
I gotta play Dasha. Okay, I'll try.
You're your Dasha. You're my Dasha. It's Valentine's Day.
Jeez. Baron Corbin, you have a match tonight against Dean Ambrose. What are your thoughts heading into this match?
My thoughts. My thoughts. He always re-asks the question that he's just asked. Explanation.
And it's almost like he's shocked that someone asked him that same. Yeah. What are my thoughts?
How dare you do your job?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, he's still in my "how dare you" gimmick.
It's either that or it goes and then it turns into that very slow, methodical, but it's supposed to be sinister speaking. I used to play in the NFL. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, this wasn't very good. He's so good on talking smack, though.
Yes, he is.
Somebody asked about the great camera use on SmackDown Live. It was great in the main event. It couldn't be much worse than Raw. There were 13 camera cuts in 11 seconds in the Bailey Charlotte match. And on YouTube, on YouTube, in the 3 minutes of action, I think there were 68 camera cuts.
Oh, the
68.
The one that got me was when she was ramming Charlotte's head into the corner, and they were trying to hide the fact that she wasn't ramming the head into the corner. So every time the head hit, it would go to the other angle. Oh, man. I watched that right before Smackdown, and it gave me a headache.
It was terrible. It was miserable. Under my backstage crappenings listing, I said that we see Nikki and Natalya having the same argument they've had for 2 months, and it ends the same way, too. I've mentioned this before, but the Peter Griffin versus the chicken angle would work a lot better for somebody else.
Yeah, I found it interesting that they made a Falls Count Anywhere instead of just keeping them contained in a cage somehow. That would have been – although the luckiest guy in the arena – well, actually, let me take that back. Daniel Bryan didn't get livid about this fighting until they started grabbing each other's hair. That was the first thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed is whichever local talent, probably from Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy, that they got to play security. I'm trying to go over how they explained this to him. All right, your job's very important. You have to go and grab Nikki Bella around the waist. Can you handle that? Oh, I don't know. Hot woman like Nikki Bella. I don't know if I could get in that close and do that, but I'll give it my best shot. That dude is the luckiest man on the planet.
Yeah, Falls Count Anywhere match is scheduled. No biggie. Ziggler cuts
in Ontario, which is weird that they scheduled next week's SmackDown about an hour away from Anaheim. Are they staying in LA the whole week? I think they have house shows elsewhere and are flying back to Southern California next week for SmackDown. Just kind of weird.
It is kind of weird. Okay, we got Dolph Ziggler promo. It was quick, to the point. Nothing wrong with it.
Sure. Still dumb.
Yeah.
He's this character is gonna fail horribly, I think.
Yeah. We got Mickie James defeating Becky Lynch, 50-50 booking here. I mean, I guess I'll see where it goes. I don't know if I understand the logic of running this back immediately, but I also don't understand Mickie James's flappy pants. And I also don't understand the logic in bridging on a hammerlock. Becky, stop it. Stop it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I noticed during the Elimination Chamber, and I think it was a problem. I don't think crowds want to boo Mickie James. I think she's enough of a legend where they want to actually cheer her. And especially since they brought her back for the Asuka match as kind of a face, that they don't want to boo her. And I think they may have run this back immediately to try and get boos. That said, this finish is my least favorite finish in the WWE canon right now.
The fake injury?
The fake injury in a wrestling match. Referees are supposed to let it go until there's a finish and then check on the injury. I cannot stand this because it just throws me out of this having any sense of realism whatsoever.
Like, how can you work over a body part?
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. Also, yeah, I swear every time she bridges on a hammerlock, I'm going to bitch about it. It's the new front drop kick.
Why are you bitching about it? Expand on that.
Why the fuck would you bridge on a... Well, okay, you don't want to bridge on a hammerlock. You put all of your weight on the person to prevent them from moving. It's just... I mean, they can sit out of that. They can do a lot of things. They can turn into it. They can just grab your head and yank it out and have your shoulders on the mat. There's a lot of logistical reasons why. I mean, you just wouldn't see anybody do that in a shoot environment, which, I mean, there's a lot of things in WWE that you wouldn't see in a shoot environment. I can tell you the Unprettier would never work. Right. Ever.
No.
How in the hell? I mean, well, it doesn't work if somebody lets you do it half the time.
Yeah, and for all my complaints about the match, I think Mickie and Becky are the two toughest women in this division, and they like having that aspect of sport in their match, and I like it. Yeah. So I'll watch this be 50-50. But I agree. Yeah, I agree with you. Mickie needs to change her gear.
Stupid gear. Stupid gear. She's better than that. Naomi and Alexa Bliss have a promo. Naomi comes out and cuts a pretty good promo. Somebody said, I'm going to go off if you don't admit this was a great promo. I don't think it was a great promo. I thought that compared to the other promos she's cut before Sunday, it was pretty good. But, I don't think it was great.
From Nikki or from Alexa? I mean, from
Naomi.
I thought it was kind of a standard babyface fare.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. But, compared to other stuff, sure. But, I'm not grading it on a curve here. Alexa Bliss looks even better in human being clothes, as it turns out. She does not need her hair to be pink, but she cuts a standard promo and says that she has a match next week. And Naomi mentions that she was injured in her match. That is a work, for those of you asking. They got a match next week that's used to just add some sympathy to the match, but this was a fine segment.
Is there a chance that they just did this for Black History Month and they put the belt back on Alexa before Mania?
You're asking that, huh?
Yeah. And that the injury is kind of an out?
Anything's possible, but, I don't know. I don't know.
That's my cynicism speaking.
Not one that I asked. I get the feeling if I asked one of my WWE contacts, they would no longer be a WWE contact.
No, this is you and me talking. This isn't. Yeah. This isn't. Ooh, is this a scoop that Vince? Yeah, no.
It's you and me talking.
Yeah.
2,000 people listening to us.
That's fine. I think the injury is going to be used for sympathy in the story in terms of the match, but I could see them also using it as an out to take the belt off of her too. Unfortunately.
Yeah. I could see that as well. Bray Wyatt defeated John Cena and AJ Styles. Luke Harper attacks Bray Wyatt before the match. This is interesting because Bray Wyatt working underneath against two of the most popular guys in the WWE, Jeff.
Yeah. I liked the beatdown. I did. I kind of enjoyed that. I enjoyed him popping up and then having a little bit of intrigue there as to whether Bray Wyatt would be able to overcome the other two in the match. And this match was very good, I thought.
Oh, it was. It's your standard WWE main event championship match where a lot of high spots, a lot of finishers. It's a formula that works really well for them.
Yeah.
It makes the matches good. You'll have some people that will complain about it, but it works for me. I like it. You got table breaks, dives to the outside. There was a Sister Abigail on
that table. that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Not breaking hurts. I'm sorry.
Yep. There was a Sister Abigail on Cena, an STF, and an AA on Styles, a phenomenal forearm to Wyatt, calf crusher on Cena. This match was all over the place. John Cena takes the pinfall clean for the second time in like 48 hours. If you're going to rehabilitate a guy, having him beat John Cena clean twice in a couple days is a good way to do it.
Well, he's got to move on to the sports entertainment story for WrestleMania, so I don't think he doesn't need the championship credibility going into his match at WrestleMania if the mixed tag rumor is true with The Miz. Speaking of which, that's the one moment in Elimination Chamber that really got me a bit peeved. It was a good match, don't get me wrong, I liked it, but they built up Miz as kind of a guy who was kind of equal to all these guys he was with in the Elimination Chamber, and he gives a skull-crushing finale to Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt's up 2 seconds later after Miz gets pinned. That ticked me off. I don't know why. I just thought, man, they'd done so much for Miz in this match, and now he's just a geek. Okay, fine.
Randy Orton comes out. He says he will not challenge Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. I was hoping he would say, I won't because I'm challenging for Raw's championship and we're going to run this bitch. He didn't say that.
That'd be cool. I'd take that. I think everybody was expecting the RKO here, but I think they're going to make us wait for it, which is fine.
It's an okay episode of SmackDown. That main event was very, very good. Yes. By the way, guys, no, I have not watched Pulp Fiction yet. I will. I was going to today, but who has 2.5 hours?
You should make it for the best film of 1994-95, I believe. So, yes, do it.
Sounds like really high praise.
It's good.
Somebody says, with Luke Harper being such a wild card, do you think he sides with Randy at Mania to help defeat Bray, or will the original family reunite? I don't think he sides with Randy at all.
No, I don't think he's even involved in the match. I think he's probably in the Battle Royal earlier.
What'd you think of Emma last night?
I hated it.
And the news that emerged today that maybe that gimmick was pulled because she wasn't too committed to it.
I'm ready to cut a promo on it, especially the part where they said that where Satin said, I guess his source says that the gimmick was supposed to be close to, was it the Cat, Sable, and Sunny?
What gimmick?
What do those three things have in common? None of them could wrestle very well, and they were just used for cheap sex pop. And Emma is a trained wrestler. She wants to be a wrestler. Let her be a wrestler, for fuck's sake. Pardon my French. I don't like swearing all that much, but I don't care. Well, I know, but that made me livid. That just made me absolutely livid to read this. And it's part of that. It's part of that whole Vince, Kevin Dunn like blondes things, and they want their wrestlers to be supermodels, and they got one, and then they give them these stupid plans, and then the talent doesn't want to do it, and then it's the talent's fault, because they did the same thing with Lana and that Rusev storyline. And, you know, I mean, their perfect women's champion was Kelly. I mean, who
ironically was backstage last night, and they don't really want anything to do with, and haven't for years, because she has contacted them on multiple occasions in regards to working something out, from what I've been told. And they're like, no, we'll pass.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean,
and Alex had actually speculated last night, maybe she talked some sense into the WWE. Maybe she said, I don't want to do this.
Okay, it was talking sense from her perspective. But when was the last time something like that happened and people got rewarded for it? I mean, that's why she came out, said that thing, went out there, and she'll probably be out for another 17 weeks while we get Emma vignettes on Raw week after week after week after week. I laughed at first, and then I got angry. That's how I felt about that Emelina segment. I laughed, and then I went, oh, really? That's what they did? That was their big reveal right there? She's just going to go back? F off. F off, WWE. All of you.
If Emma were, I'll say this, if Emma were like an indie darling male wrestler, the momentum that she would have like among internet fans would be insane. You think about this. Think about her run. She helped usher in this revolution, the stuff with Paige. I remember that's the first time people were like, okay, we need to watch. Maybe a change is coming. She gets called up and put in an all-time terrible spot with Santino Marella. Dead in the water.
Yep, doing a comedy dancing gimmick.
She literally gets fired one day, and the WWE's like, oh, wait, they get all the facts, and they're like, maybe we screwed up here. Let's maybe not fire her. It was a situation where Walmart thought that she stole something. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't.
It was either way, iPad cover or something like that.
Yeah, a woman making six figures stealing an iPad cover. You don't see that a lot among WWE talents. It's not a thing that – it's not like people getting pulled over and them finding pot. It's not something that happens a lot. Whether she did it or not, I don't know. It's been so long. Either way, they brought her back.
Mm-hmm.
She reemerged in NXT and was awesome.
Yes, that whole bit with her and Dana Brooke was awesome. That's where Dana was at her best too. And and she's kind of the Mickie James of this women's revolution, because where Mickie gets kind of faded in favor of Trish and Lita, Emma gets faded in favor of Paige somewhat, but also the Horsewomen. And right now, next to the Horsewomen and Mickie James, Emma's their best wrestler on the roster in terms of the main roster. I don't count Asuka, because Asuka's never going to be brought up, I think. But look, she was trained by Lance Storm. Okay, Lance Storm doesn't screw around with his training, from what I know. She wants to be in this business to be a wrestler. She doesn't want to be a side piece. She doesn't want to be a model which is what they seem to. I cannot stand these photo shoots with the divas all the time during the holidays and stuff. It just insults their intelligence. It makes me think sometimes. Look, I know if you look through my eyes how I view the WWE, Vince McMahon wants to be a studio mogul, and he wants to cast leading ladies and leading men and monsters and things of that nature. But this women's revolution seemed to be just pure marketing in terms of helping Stephanie expand her brand at times. And now they're going to go back to the same old tricks with the exception of keeping, say, Charlotte strong as a icon of women's wrestling. It's very frustrating to me at times.
I'm okay with them keeping Charlotte strong.
I'm fine with them keeping Charlotte strong, but to make her, but she's also she's tall and blonde, which is what they want in a champ. And
I don't think it's a physical thing. Charlotte's just really good, man. I think that's...
I'm not fading her talent at all. I'm not right now. But in terms of what they want to be a face of the division and the way they've booked this division where she gets big pay-per-view wins and she loses the title on TV to others, they're not building the division up per se. They're building up a star in the division, hoping the division follows.
Yeah. Somebody asks, Tamina is surely a factor in this Alexa Naomi match, right? I could see her costing Naomi and becoming Bliss's muscle. If that's what she was used for, I'd be okay with it because I don't want to see her wrestling regularly again.
I don't think they're bringing her back.
They might not. If I were them, I wouldn't. No offense to her.
Especially with the Snooki heat.
She's just not good, man. She's just not good. Regarding the Emma thing, also, she got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
She was off TV. Then she had all these vignettes. It's just like the constant stream of shit she has had to wade through over the years is
and there was also
unmatched.
And there was also the point where they weren't happy with her dating Zack Ryder, I believe, too.
Yeah. And you'll hear a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, they wanted to keep AJ down so bad. Yeah, she was the hottest character on Raw at one point. They wanted to keep Paige down so bad. Yeah, it's not anything that maybe Paige has said or done that's gotten her there. Now, I have heard that maybe Emma isn't a joy to be around or deal with at times, but who is? They can't all be, for one, I've heard Alicia Fox is nothing but a day in the park to deal with. They can't all be like that. And they don't all need to be like that. Everybody needs to have their own individual personalities, and everybody needs to at least have the ability to stand up. For example, TJ Perkins tonight should have said, I ain't fucking saying that. Whenever in regards to his promo, he should have said, no way. Because I had an active big name wrestler after I tweeted about that text me and say, how about that shit? I was like, yeah, that was bad.
Oh, that's terrible.
Pretty bad.
At least he didn't make video game puns in it, though.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. Brock Lesnar officially retired from the UFC today. Now, I'm going to break down what that means exactly, guys. It doesn't mean that he retired from MMA. It means he retired from the UFC. That means that he is now pulled out of the United States Anti-Doping Agency testing pool. He doesn't have to let them know where he is at all times anymore. He was fined $250,000 and suspended for a year for his failed drug test for clomiphene. Clomiphene is the same substance that John Jones tested positive for, and as it turned out, it was from a Chinese Viagra knockoff pill. So you don't know exactly what's up with that, but Brock hadn't been tested, from what I was told, in 4 or 5 months. So it's not like it was an inconvenience. I think him having to apply the whereabouts was more inconvenient than anything. This does not mean he's done fighting. He can come back whenever he wants now, and they'll do the 4-month deal, and they'll go through 4 months of testing, and he can come back to the UFC. Or he could sign with Bellator World Series of Fighting Ryzen tomorrow. Right, in the case of Ryzen, they could have him fight next week in Japan if they wanted to. For Bellator, they would probably wait until after July because he's suspended until July. I don't think they would pull some shady stuff. Although they have done that with some other people. They've had them fight places where they're not suspended. So,
Let me ask you something crazy.
Sure.
Brock Lesnar gets signed by Bellator to fight the winner of Mitrione and Fedor.
He'd do it. He'd fight Fedor in a heartbeat. He wanted to fight Fedor. He tried to fight Fedor in 2012.
Yeah.
And Fedor, his dad passed away, and he didn't want to fight anymore. Now, I don't think Fedor would fight Brock Lesnar.
No, and I think Fedor's probably losing to Mitrione on Saturday unless there's some wonky judging like the
I think he's
like the Fabio Maldonado fight.
Well, here's the thing with the Fabio Maldonado fight, without getting too much MMA. The judges worked for Fedor.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he is the president of the Russian MMA Federation.
Right.
Somebody asked, doesn't your contract freeze if you retire with the UFC? I don't know that he had a contract beyond one fight. I don't think the WWE would have let him sign that. I'll ask more about it, sure, but they pulled him from the roster. He let them know last week, is what I was told, and they pulled him from the roster along with several other names. So, yeah, if I were Bellator, I would try real hard to make Fedor versus Brock Lesnar no matter what. Not the winner of anything. I'd try to make Fedor, Brock Lesnar, and I think Brock Lesnar wins that fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does it fairly easily as well. Anything else crawling up your butt this week, Jeff? What's going on?
What did you think of the Bayley-Charlotte match?
I liked it.
I liked the match, too. What did you think of the end?
A crutch to the tit.
Yeah. I found it I'm still processing.
Innovative.
I'm still processing a little bit because for me, I still view Bayley as a potential $1 million property for the WWE. If they had kind of coronated her at WrestleMania.
I hate that thinking. I hate it.
I know, but I think Charlotte.
This may be an exception. She may be an exception, though.
Yes.
To your point.
Yeah.
Because she does have that ability. Hey, they may still do it.
They may.
She might lose a fast lane in a couple weeks.
They yeah, I'm thinking that. But it's weird to have her coronation on the main roster be due to interference. I don't know if I like that story yet, but I'm still processing it. I'm very uncertain as to whether or not it's fine because it's going to set up Sasha Bayley later, or if I don't like the whole. She's the underdog who's been working for this match, and she gets the title, but she doesn't know she got it under shady circumstances, which I think will probably, I think see how it plays out next week type of thing. That's what I'm leaning towards. I'm just kind of like, as a brand, as a Bayley brand, so to speak, wasn't good for her brand to win the title that way.
Yeah, and I went on a rant about coronations today. She might be the exception because of her ability to connect with a different kind of crowd than what they're used to having. And I think she will get it at WrestleMania. I do. Again, I think she'll lose it at Fastlane, get it at WrestleMania. And here's why. I think that an even bigger coronation is her having to uphill battle against a heel Nia Jax, a heel Charlotte, a heel Sasha Banks, overcoming all three of them at WrestleMania and winning. I think that's absolutely possible. And they could build that. She could say, I have what I worked so hard for, and my own best friend Sasha Banks cost me that championship at Fastlane out of jealousy. Right.
No, I agree with you. I think that's the story to tell if they do a 4-way at Mania. I disagree with you on coronations probably. I think it's a time and place thing, and I think it's a who needs it. Like last year at WrestleMania for me, Charlotte Flair did not need to win the title there. That was the time for a fledgling division with Sasha Banks' popularity being still kind of hot after coming in, where she needed to win that title. And
they could have given Charlotte like 3 more title reigns.
Yes. Yeah.
The summer.
And big wins at the big events, at the big 3, the SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, mean a lot more in canon and to one star power going forward than it does, say, on a random Raw, there and I had a lot of people saying she should have won it at Fastlane. I'm like, no, a Raw probably means more than Fastlane. A Raw main event means more than a Fastlane mid-card, because people still talk about Lita versus Trish in the main event of Raw.
They don't talk about Lita versus Trish at, I don't know, any other show outside of maybe Trish's last match. That's really it.
And that said, man, Bailey is tough. I mean, you could say all you want about her character kind of being a bit dopey, but man, taking that moonsault like she did
on the shoulder,
Bailey is one tough woman.
Somebody, the same person that asked the Tamina question says Tamina is booked for the SmackDown show at MSG next month. She is seemingly returning. Now, hey, it's very possible that Tamina saw the writing on the wall and said, if anything, let me work MSG, because I know that venue in particular has a lot of meaning to her and her family. I mean, you got to remember, her dad made history there on multiple occasions. So don't read too much into that. Maybe she'll come back. I don't know. I hope she doesn't.
Is that a SmackDown show or a Raw show?
I think it's a SmackDown show. I think Raw's running Barclays.
Okay.
Guys, Fightful.com, place to be. Go visit. Saturday night, UFC coverage. We got that Fedor fight. Sunday night, UFC Halifax. That's where our boy Elias Theodorou is fighting. Friday night, Matt Riddle and Jason Kincaid do battle at AAW in Chicago. Can't wait to hear how that goes. And also this weekend, Matt Riddle going for those PWG Tag Team Championships. We'll have full results of that. No post-fight podcast Saturday. We're doing that Sunday after the UFC show. But tomorrow afternoon, I'm here with Jimmy Van. Thursday with Matt Riddle. Friday with Shane Helms. Register for free, mind you, for free at Fightful.com to get early access to the Thursday and Friday podcasts. Or you can subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher for those. Jeff, tell us what's up with Shake Them Ropes. Is Rob eating the hat yet? Probably not.
Rob has not eaten the hat yet. Personal plug for me, next Saturday, Carrboro, North Carolina, the Carrboro Arts Center, part of the North Carolina Comedy Arts Festival. Billy Hawk playing at 7:30. Come one,
your boy,
come all.
Jeff Hawkins making towns.
You bet. Visit nccomedyarts.com for ticket information. This week on Shake Them Ropes, Rob and I will go over the Elimination Chamber. We'll go over Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, NXT, whatever the heck else happened this week. I'll probably say this rant about Emma again on the show because it will probably still be stuck in my craw. And our top 100 match to see before you die from the network, number 2 on the list, Steve Austin versus Bret Hart, submission match from WrestleMania 13.
I remember back in the day, like I think one of the reasons I got into wrestling is because it was almost forbidden for me. I wasn't really allowed to watch it as a child. I had ADHD and it was blamed on pro wrestling. Like, that's the reason you're hyper. No, it wasn't. But I remember I was on vacation in Florida, and there was just one night that I didn't want to go out. And the pay-per-view channel in Florida, you could hear the audio of WrestleMania 13 as it happened. You couldn't see anything. It was scrambled, but I got to listen to the match, and I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. That match was so good that, like, hearing it, I was like, this is the best match that I've ever heard in my life. And when I finally got to see it, it lived up to the hype. Can't wait to check that out on Shake Them Ropes. Guys, subscribe to us, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube. Leave us thumbs up. Leave us nice reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. That stuff helps a whole lot. Share the articles. Visit Fightful.com, FightfulMMA.com, FightfulWrestling.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at FightfulWrestle, at FightfulMMA, at Fightful. Somebody says, SRS couldn't watch wrestling. Ha, 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 ha. But you know what? SRS watches wrestling and makes more money than you do doing it now. Ha, 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 ha. We have a special guest on tomorrow's Fightful podcast, apparently. I have a feeling that Jimmy's trolling me, though.
Cool. You know what? Before you cut off, you know what? It was a big thing with a lot of parents that they didn't want their kids watching violent programming like wrestling. I didn't take that to be, overprotective at all. I mean, my parents hated me watching wrestling, but they also, my dad and I would get knocked down dragouts over whether I could watch wrestling or he could watch Star Trek: The Next Generation. So, and he always won.
Listen, these people bring out Sean Ross Sass and it's all over.
Sassy.
It's all over. Guys, I want to thank you all so much for joining us on Valentine's night. It truly means a lot to me that you all are here hanging out with me and Jeff on this evening. Thank you for supporting Fightful.com. Keep visiting it. We love you all very much.
I'm so
It's
lonely.
beautiful.
I'm so lonely.
I'm not. This is how much I love you guys. Somebody screen cap this. Make this your profile picture. Hold on, wait. Get the Fightful in there. Now make it your profile picture. Catch you guys later.